All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Wednesday, May 12th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. It feels good to be back in the saddle here for this afternoon meeting. Great to see all of us live inside the trading room. Mike, Ken, Leda, Debbie, Renzo, Skip, Chuck, all of our students live who just gave me a quick sound check a moment ago. Great to see you guys. And alongside them, all of us on social media. First and foremost, for all of us joining us on Facebook Live and YouTube, I have to start off, right, by saying I'm very sorry. I was out sick yesterday. Can't really control those things necessarily, but ended up taking the day off. I was feeling like total crap overnight. I barely had anything to eat since Monday afternoon. So we were hyping up our big workshop, our Traders Talk workshop. We typically host that inside our live trading room every Tuesday. And with that in mind, I had mentioned to all of our traders live inside the cyber group room today that just based on the breakdown of the rest of the week, it's going to be hard to squeeze in a full edition of Traders Talk. For all of us live inside cyber group, stay tuned for Friday morning at 11 a.m. I'll do a mini version of that for you guys there. Now, for all of us on social media, though, keep in mind, just like the banner says, I updated it. Coming up next Tuesday, aside from me potentially getting sick, I don't think I will. I haven't really gotten sick in quite a while. But coming up May 18th, we will be kind of rescheduling that special workshop, Traders Talk. We typically do that maybe 2 or 3 times across the calendar year for free for you folks on social media. So again, I really apologize. We were supposed to do that just yesterday. And for all of us live inside the trading room, like John, Kathleen, Michael, Ken, we'll be doing a mini version of that at least coming up this Friday on the 14th. But stay tuned again for all of us on social media. We'll be doing the full edition of that coming up on May 18th. All right, so with that said, let's begin with the AUTL. It's kind of still near the highs here heading into the afternoon, so I don't mind just like putting this on our main list to begin. I wasn't really expecting to trade a whole lot because of A, me being sick, and then also B, there wasn't a whole lot in pre-market that really caught my eye. Early in the morning, I thought that we'd have more of a down day today. I ended up missing a couple of shorts on PLTR, ended up doing well on a couple of other trades. So for what it's worth, I don't want to give back the profits that I have right now. Just to begin this AUTL, I'll just put this on our list with it being still near the highs. Volume kind of dived off a bit over the last 10, 15 minutes, but still, if it can make a higher low from here, push back up and re-break perhaps over like 680-ish, 682. Last little peak there, perhaps we could see it make the higher high up to 7. So, we'll check back in with it even by the end, but we'll definitely put this on our main list just to begin. All right, so what we'll do, folks, really is just go from top to bottom. No class coming up this afternoon, but really no simpler way to begin by just starting off with number 1. CRIS up 60%, ended up making a huge squeeze up. I got halted on the way up, reopened up like $2 higher. And yeah, I mean, for right now, I'd only expect this to drop off. If it hasn't ran up higher just yet, I would only expect this over time to pull back with profit taking. That tight range there for the meantime. So, it's not close to the highs. I'm not really too keen on putting that on our main list. The WISA trade, WISA, however you may pronounce it, ended up making a wacky pop going into the early afternoon from like 310 all the way up towards just over 4. A little second squeeze up here, perhaps from 340 up to 360-ish, but again, I'm not really too keen on it just yet. With the markets dropping off, I'd assume to find a lot more on the losers, on the losers list. And alongside that, you could see clearly an ETF like UVXY. Alongside UVXY, I would also assume VXX making the same type of move. So for anyone that really does well in the ETFs, then I'll highlight this for you folks. UVXY and VXX, these are symbols that practically move against how the markets and the major indices are performing. It's the VIX ETF, so it's the fear/volatility index, it's called. So it's typically where you see the S&P and the Dow drop off. This makes the inverse type of move. All right, I shouldn't have even clicked this one. Just super low volume across the day. I guess I'm making a little squeeze there, but pass. BRN, same thing. Nice move from earlier. Ended up diving back down a bit. Just not a whole lot really going on right now. This eyes trade was pretty nice to us early on today. Ended up taking a while for it to load up, but ended up, beginning to make that eventual squeeze. Ended up breaking above its opening bell print price right off 591 and ended up running up nicely from there. We're pretty familiar with this trade, so thankfully this one wasn't really too surprising for us to anticipate a run up. Just look what happened dating back to early March. Ended up taking off practically from 3 all the way up to over 20 in just a couple days. So, I always say this, even if we can get a fraction of that type of move, I'll take it. So, it took a while, but once this ended up making its run, we were able to anticipate a bigger pop, a squeeze, not to take like 5 or 8 cents on the trade, make like 30, 40, 50 cents. And still, after I got out on this, I left money on the table. I got out, I think it was right off 650 on the pop, but ended up making the squeeze back up higher. I didn't jump back in, but could have been a further move, and maybe keep it on your side list for remainder of the week, for tomorrow and Friday, etc. if it holds strong, at least heading into the close. Right now, it dropped off too much, so for today, I don't expect it's like break new highs, but we'll check in with it come tomorrow. How about this? The NERV trade. I know the Fausto called this out like during like late morning, early afternoon. It wasn't doing a whole lot, but what he called out was a huge iceberg order that was on the bid. I think the price was maybe like 263 or 265. I forgot the exact time, but it was when it was like kind of consolidating. I think even here at this point, look at it now. Ended up making a bit of a squeeze up so far. I think for so much volume that it's traded across the day, maybe I'll check back in with it at the end. I'll put this on the side. It's like a nice level 1 stock, tight spread, great liquidity. As a new student, you can't lose too much on this trade unless if you hold on way too long. But, aside from the shakedown, it really has been pretty tempered since. All right, so we'll check back in with that at the end. We got the VIX ETF here, VIXI, another one. RIGL ended up making a nice squeeze from earlier today. Second type of squeeze here, bouncing from roughly 365 upwards to 380 here. Nice move. Again, I'd call it a level 1, maybe a level 2 stock. Definitely low risk, unless if you're holding on way longer than you need to. But yeah, I'll check back in with this at the end. So I don't mind. Just when we're in a down market, unless if we're really seeing the squeeze up live in this meeting, I'm just less keen on putting stocks on our list anticipating a big pop or move back up. I know this is a pharma stock, so it's not necessarily as influenced by what the S&P is doing as much, but ended up making a nice pop from earlier today. Maybe we'll check back in with this at the end. All right, I'll tell you, I'm in one trade. I'm monitoring it right now. I didn't tell you this before. I will jump to it in just a second. I feel obligated to do it because, well, it's regarding Bitcoin. So I think that you folks know what I'm talking about there. 1 or 2 stocks, maybe you can guess, but let's go right down to the losers list here. ARRY. I know Ken's been cleaning up on the short today. Hard to borrow on TradeStation, but you could always check with your broker. If not TradeStation, then your own broker. See if you can get the shares. Early bird gets the money. Early bird gets the shares at the same time. Ended up making a steep drop off practically as soon as the market opened up, and it's at the lows right now. If you could short this stock, it's still in play. And then otherwise, should we see a potential dead cat bounce, then I know all of us would be able to take that opportunity at least. So yeah, the ARRY stock. I mean, I remember trading this stock. Oh no, I'm mixing this up with another symbol. But ARRY, we're familiar with just over the years. We ended up trading this stock. I always mix this up with Arrowhead, ARWR, a lot more expensive. I was like, there's no way that ARRY was $65, $90 back like a year ago. That would have been a huge drop. But yeah, getting back to this here, going into the close here with this near the lows at least, perhaps there's continuation on the way down. Otherwise, considering the range that the stock has made today, down over 40%, if it doesn't break lower, maybe we'll get our squeeze going into the final hour here. All right, let's see what else we got. FTCI, not a whole lot really happening there. Pretty low volume per minute. Same thing with this. It's at the lows, but doesn't always mean we're going to put it on our watch list. I think ARRY is just trading a lot of volume. I like that even more. AMTX here, though, piques my interest. Broke lower going into 2 o'clock, 2:15 Eastern time. Looks like a bigger spike of volume. I mean, not as big as what we had at noon or whatnot, but the biggest since, like right here, 224. Let's see. 966 looks like a lot of prints filled right off 966 on the bid. Yeah, it makes sense right there at that time. Ended up just kind of breaking below that price, right back above it. You could see generally it's been holding right over that 966 since and squeezing up. Nice little tape reading example there. Check in with us coming into next week for all of us on social media. We'll be doing more of that in our Traders Talk workshop. Hey, it's squeezing up right now. It's down big. It is shortable if it goes the other way and continues down. So I don't mind slipping this on our list here. This AMTX stock. It's taking a huge hit really over the last week. Seems like 20 all the way down. feel like a dead cat bounce would be possible at some point. Let's see, light here, shortable on TradeStation, just pretty expensive. RVLV, not a whole lot to really write home there. I think that just about does it, folks. I mean, I'm obviously still going down the losers list, but unless if there's anything you see that's making a really sharp move with the market, I obviously have to get to my trade and tell you what I'm looking at here, at least myself, the stock that I'm in, and I'll bring up my Bitcoin chart with that in just a second. So from Nick on YouTube, he's saying short OCGN. I was going to get to that here as I eventually came to OCGN. He says, admittedly, it's slow moving. Yeah, it is, but it's near the low of the day, right? So it's down big. It's a stock we're all pretty familiar with. Stock I'm definitely familiar with myself. Either way, I mean, it has great spread, great liquidity. It's starting to bounce right now, kind of like that AMTX trade. Not as if they're trading the exact same, but just saying, it's near the lows. I don't mind giving this a look. Put this on our list. All right, so if you looked on the losers list here, let's see, where was it? Where are we here? Got to go down. So you got OCGN number 38. Number 37, Mara, is the stock I'm in right now. And I'm actually in practically break even. I'm in right at 23. And in fact, this didn't really break higher just yet. So I'm a little concerned about this snapping lower as we speak. I was looking good just a moment ago. I'm in right from 23. I have a stop set, right below 2290. Actually, Bitcoin's starting to fall off quite a little bit here over the last 10 or so minutes. Let me just pull up my Bitcoin chart. I may dump out of this trade actually live right now. So this is my Bitcoin chart, actually a 15-minute chart. I always tend to show the 1 hour and the 6 hour to get a longer scale view. But I was going to go into this meeting telling you, hey, Bitcoin has made a little bit of a bounce back up here. Well, here we go. Here's 2 o'clock. Here's 2:15. Here's 2:30. So Bitcoin itself has been steeply dropping off. And with that, it wouldn't shock me if my Mara trade ends up diving lower first. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to back out on Mara right now. I closed at practically break even, 22.99 I closed out at. And if I'm wrong, if it ends up moving back up, then so be it. But I just closed right on the nose at 99. I'll re-enter this trade if it ends up making a bounce back up, but pretty interesting at least there. I was up about 15 cents. I wanted a lot more. Typically going into the afternoons, Mara and Riot, they typically don't run in their respective directions that they've already made going into the final hour. We've seen at times them, continue in their direction, but not like run, like make the big grand move that you would want to see, from like a stock like AUTL that's near the highs. We would want to see $1 pop on that into the close. Same to be said with stocks like Mara and Riot. We just never see it. More often than not, for a stock like Mara or Riot, with it near the low of the day or at the high of the day, they typically reverse. So, maybe I'll check back in with this coming up in the next 10, 15 minutes. I'm actually going to put this on our list here at this point. Either way, I'm still looking more for a dead cat bounce and a squeeze up. But if Bitcoin keeps diving off, then I'm not going to try and catch a falling knife. All right, so folks, let me know if there's anything else up, down, left, right, more than like 10%, more than 5%. I'll go with that I didn't really look at that you would want me to take a look at here going into the afternoon. Happy I made that decision right here on Mara. Got one from Benzinga Pro really quick. Actually, got Nikola at the high of the day. So in a down market, not everything is dropping off. Nikola's up 5%. So I guess it's just breaking above that barrier there. It's at the highs, especially if we get a bounce in the market. Perhaps we'll see this stock squeeze up higher, even further. We saw a lot of different EV stocks move up nicely this morning. LI is another, not as strong now compared to Nikola, but ended up making a nice move. So, for the meantime, Nikola, I don't mind slipping on our main list here. Still looks really strong on the way up. I am really happy I got out on Mara right when I did. That is a sinking ship right now, folks. Got an order on the bid at 22.80. I'd called that out before, just much earlier in the day. But, again, I'm not going to catch a falling knife. I'm going to wait for it to come to me, or, wait for it to break under, then over, then try and jump in from there. Watch Bitcoin, of course, alongside that, the S&P, the SPY, the ETF here on my 5-minute chart. All right, folks, I think that just about does it for me here. I don't see any other stocks on our chat board or from YouTube or Facebook Live. For all of us on social media, again, for anyone joining late, I always said, I said to start the meeting, I apologize. I was out sick yesterday. I know that we had our big hyped up Traders Talk workshop simulcasting live on social media set for yesterday. We'll be doing that next week, just like the banner says below. And again, just to make sure to know when we're going live, when we're not, make sure that you like, subscribe, but more so hit the notification icon when you're on YouTube. That will tell you when we're going live or not going into next Tuesday on the 18th there. All right, so for all of us on the trading room side, Ken, Michael, Kathleen, John, I'm going to post and tweet the picks right now. And then from there, I'll be back on the mic myself right at 3:30, taking you into the market close. Take care.